Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a great one lined up for you today. You might have heard that President Donald Trump was on the #1 podcast in the world this week. No, not this one. He was on Joe Rogan. Podcast. People are saying it was a wonderful podcast. Maybe the greatest podcast ever recorded. I don't know. It was actually quite refreshing. Whether you like him or not, I encourage you to check it out. Refreshing to hear him talk for 3 hours and not have to hear "lock her up" in the background the whole time. Speaking of locked up, Diddy. I know, Diddy allegations. I don't know why people are so surprised by this. I mean, the man's catchphrase is literally, "It's bad boy for life." Take that. I'm beginning to think maybe All About the Benjamins might not be about money. Mo money, mo problems. Speaking of money, we did give away some last week. Yep, $256 as a matter of fact. Shout out to my pops for taking it down. Now, he says he's going to buy sunglasses with those winnings. Now, if I know him like I think I don't, that's just a week's worth of Corona. Cheers to you. Now, look, if you think I'm trying to buy views by giving away money, you're goddamn right. I'm trying to buy views, okay? And just like my last relationship, I paid too much and it still didn't work out. But look, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. At least now, when I get to talk to my mom alone for 3 hours on the computer, I'm not crying hysterically like an orphaned infant left on the church stoop in the middle of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We've got a great show lined up. Stick around. We testing the game.
I'm in the chat, and please, you're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard. You've been holding back on me. I'm going up like Hakeem. Funko Top, shout out. Come on, that's unfiltered. The truth about oysters. Give it to him. So I did that. Yup, I did. R&B, baby, he delivers. Get your popcorn ready. Testing the game. No BS, OBS, cameras zoomed in, and the chat is lit. Stay tuned in, like Zach Morris, I got detention, like the cool kids. I do's this, homie, I thought you knew this. If you didn't, now you do, I had to prove it. Thanks for watching. What's everybody's favorite topic? Please leave a comment in the chat. Refrain from gossip. Stop it. If you hating, there's no debating. Promise, I'm going up like Hakeem. I can't wait to blossom. Nah, dog, cause this a party. Get your popcorn ready, we about to get it started. I'm super grateful. Thank you all for being with me. How we looking? Am I good?
Sitting pretty.
I'm elated that y'all would take time to kick it with me, cause I ain't famous, so I'm grateful for the subs you gifting. Shout out to Shadow. I know my guy is always listening, and I appreciate the bits. Fire emoji. Pippin'. Let's get it. I'ma give you what you came to see. Please hit the follow button. We can proceed. R&B, Child's High, class of 03. Shout out to everybody back home and everybody that's in the stream. Let's go. He's Anthony. Chill. That's what happens when you leave the stream elements on when you're rehearsing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Chia.
We're testing the game.
Oh yeah. What a handsome performance. Aww. I hope y'all dug that. Thank you all one time.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Now listen, full credit. Absolutely. It's almost serendipitous that his intro plays as we transition to the live because, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Arrow Rising. Every joke in that monologue is credit to him. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right, bang. My guy's a comedic, brilliant mind, you know what I mean? And we did that. So shout out to him, and he definitely put the edits together. If you'd have saw the rough cut, you'd have been like, what the fuck is this? So, my man, appreciate all that you do. But we've got a cool show lined up. Now, sadly, there's no more contest giveaway. At least not this week. We'll bring it back, don't trip. But we definitely want to give some flowers and some props to everybody that participated. Yep. Arrow Rising says, rough cut looked like an SNL tryout during the pandemic. Look at Shadow. Shadow says, I want to give a big shout out to RussBarber for sharing all the love. And we're going to talk about that in just... Oh! That's epic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Far too kind.
I love that the Fan Bam is in the house. Hopefully we'll get a couple more viewers in. Ladies and gentlemen, last week's show, as we hoped it would be, I mean, when you're giving away so much money, you hope that maybe we'll get a couple more people tuning into the live. And sure enough, we reached 60 followers last week. That's a major milestone. We've been working on that for quite some time. You can see the progress up at the top there. Currently 62 and counting. I'd love to see some more subscriptions, however. Of course, there's less incentive these days because there's no more contests. But again, we will bring it back. Shadow, I understand you're lurking, man. I know you're working. And please forgive me to my Florida family. I forgot that in Norway, our clocks went backwards, I think a week ago. So right now, where there's normally 6 hours between us, I think there's only 5. So I think it's a little later in your day. Sorry about that. I neglected to consider it. Normally we go live at 1 o'clock, which in my mind is about 7 a.m. for you, but I think it's a little later in your day. So sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Hopefully we made it worth your while with the new monologue intro. I don't know how many of those we'll do, but it felt topical. And again, major shout out and credit to Arrow Rising for putting those jokes together. Pretty dope, man. We had a lot of fun. Now, I hope you've noticed, okay, yes, I'm wearing this Norwegian sweater, but also the snow is falling on screen. Yeah, because it's literally snowing again here in Norway. As a matter of fact, I took a photo of what it looks like outside right now to share with you all. So this is literally what it looks like maybe an hour and a half ago. Check this out. It's a bit gray in it, but you're looking at, I don't know, maybe 2 feet of snow already. Dang. So you know what's in my future. Shoveling snow, scraping it off the car, doing all that jazz. What are you gonna do? It is quite pretty though. And all the snow adds like a brightness to the color palette and schema, but it's... here we go again. So the snow is falling outside, ergo the snow is falling on the live. All right? And that's what it looks like here in Norway. But yeah, we mentioned this, and I'll say it again. Last week, our keyword giveaway ended with a bang. We had more participants last week than we ever did, and we did. We gave away the grand prize of $256. Now, I say grand prize. The theme of our contest, as a reminder, was winners could elect to take the money or double it and give it to the next person. And I'm very happy that he was our winner. Shout out to him. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for RussBarber. Congratulations again, Dad. And he is such a gracious winner. As a matter of fact, Shadow thanked him in the chat, but I'll do the honors, so to speak. So gracious that he wanted to share his winnings with our other major supporters and contributors. So he did. He gave away $50 to both Shadow1311 and Arrow Rising. And I keep the receipts. Cheer! So, true to form, a Lannister always pays his debts. R&B sent our winners each their due prizes last week. Congratulations again, and thank you to everybody that participated. Cheer! Now look, we're gonna bring you more ways to win, I promise. In fact, I wanted to do something special for the fact that we reached the milestone of 60 followers. But then I thought, well, if I just do another $60 giveaway, that's not enough. So we're currently, you ready for this? We are on the road to 100. Now, what that means, I don't know yet. We're going to figure it out, but you better bet your bottom dollar that when we get to 100, we're definitely going to do something very special, okay? So more to come on that as we figure it out, quite frankly. But one more time, thank you again to everybody that participated in the Season 2 keyword giveaway, and shout out one more time to RussBarber. All right. Arrow Rising says, meanwhile, I might go to my dad's pool today. Damn. Snowing out here. What is the temperature? I'd be curious to know. Yesterday, I was driving home, and the thermostat said -3 degrees. Now, that's Celsius for my Fahrenheit fan bam, but when when it's cold enough to freeze, it's cold enough. You know what I'm saying? And when it's snowing, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. 85. Hey! Well, listen, you all enjoy the warm sunshine and the, beautiful weather. You can go outside with flip-flops and shorts, I suspect. Can't do that here. As a matter of fact, it's cold even inside. So I'm rocking the sweater, but it is what it is. Listen, I guess as soon as Halloween ends here, it's Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? We getting ready. Speaking of Christmas, now I haven't booked my flights yet, but the fan bam knows I'm going to be home for Christmas. Yeah, looking forward to that. And I'm hoping maybe we can figure out a way to, I don't know if we'll be able to go live without all the gear and setup, but that would be cool. At least we might be able to host a couple of podcasts with a couple of cool people that I know and love. All right? I'm going to plant that seed now, but I'm very excited to be home. Mom, you have reminded me many times that I think it's been several years, maybe 5? Is it 5 years since we've shared a Christmas? That's too long. So shame on me, but I hope to be home for Christmas this year. More to come. Arrow Rising says live at Razor Creek. That would be pretty cool. Certainly Twitch has like an IRL or in real life category, and I have seen many people do that. I don't know exactly how they do it. I'm sure there's some kind of rig or contraption. Now, I guess you could go live on your phone, but that's not enough in my mind. But we could figure it out. It would be dope to like make a whole setup out there and like do it right. That would be epic. Bang. More to come on that. But again, I appreciate you all so much for being here today. Now look, without the keyword giveaway, we've got one less segment, you know what I mean? But we'll figure out a way to bring something else to the fun. So in jumping right into the show lineup, you ready? We do have a recurring segment, and it is called Put You on the Game. Now, if you're not familiar with Put You on the Game, basically Ryan gets to tell you about something he thinks is cool, something noteworthy, something topical. Or we can do word origins and phrase origins. That's what we've been doing. And true to form, that's what we've got for you today. Arrow Rising says, could just not be live and then post later. But yeah, that's a good idea. You're right. We could just record it and then play it as were. But one of the things that makes this so great is the fact that there is the possibility of live conversation and commentary. But I feel you. In my mind, otherwise it's just a podcast. Russ says, I keep losing sound. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully no one else is losing sound. Maybe that's just a Razor Creek thing. I know service is spotty. Chucha says, got out of Publix. My fellow shoppers thought I was crazy. Well, I appreciate you having us on while you're shopping. And poor Russ, he says he's frozen. Damn it, man. I'm frozen too, just in a different way. You know what I mean? Literally frozen. Dad, maybe you can, and see, here's what's scary. Maybe you can just reset the app. I worry you may have the same problems Chucha did a couple weeks ago. And then here we go again. As a reminder to anyone that has created their Twitch account on their mobile device, i.e. or a la through the app, there are ways to associate a phone number and an email address to your Twitch account, username, profile, etc. And I definitely recommend that you do that, okay? If you haven't done it, you should. There's also two-factor authentication with SMS or a third-party app like Google Authenticator. So that is your tip of the day. Hopefully Russ will be back with us shortly. In the interest of time and everyone's day, we're just going to keep the show rolling, all right? So put you on the game. Lately, in the last, I don't know, maybe month or so, we have been sharing word origins and phrase origins. As a matter of fact, because of last week's holiday theme and Halloween spooky vibes, matter of fact, I got this for you still. Yeah, we did that. We talked about the origins of Halloween and where that all came from. So if you missed that episode, you can always rewatch the VODs on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe for me one time. Or you can check it out on Twitch for about a week. Maybe longer than that. I don't know how long they keep those videos up, but we always repost the VODs on YouTube. And RussBarber is back on, baby. Let's go! Glad to hear it, Dad. Welcome back. Thank you so much. You didn't miss much just yet. All right, so we're putting you on game, and this week we have a phrase, and I'm gonna tell you the origins of the phrase, cool? And I hope that this is at least cute and fun for many of us, because I certainly have learned some things along the way. So, without further ado, this week's phrase, you all ready? The phrase is, let the cat out of the bag. Now, I hope many of us know this phrase, okay? And I'll tell you what it means and what the origins are. But before I do, if anyone wants to guess where this phrase comes from, that would be quite fun. In fact, that suggestion was made by none other than Miss Chucha Barber a few weeks back, and we've had a lot of fun with it. So, prior to the Halloween episode, it was pulling out all the stops. Before that, we did break the ice. There was one about the alphabet. Just because. All right, so this week it is, wait for it, let the cat out of the bag. Louis! Big G, shout out one time, man. Thank you so much for being here. Says touching ground. That's an inside joke, but my man, thank you so much for being here and showing your love. Stick around, man. We got some cool things coming up, and if not, that's cool too. I appreciate you stopping by nevertheless. Bang. And because I didn't do it before, ladies and gentlemen, when you see those diamonds next to usernames, that's because these individuals are major supporters. They're my friends and family. I love them, they love me, and they get this.
Got a Superman bench that I scored from Shaq with an old school cat.
I said there's diamonds in the chat. Yeah, diamonds in the chat. Again, thank you all for being here. Arrow Rising says, oh, that started when Chinese restaurants would have cats delivered to the back door. And then when one time one cat got out in front of the customers, so they all got mad and ended up having to fire the employees and punish them by death. Not bad, man, not bad. I appreciate the jokes. We love it. That is incorrect. But I understand you weren't being serious, but it was a funny joke nevertheless. Chucha says, people to cats. Wait a second. People to cats to the place in a sack and let them out of the bag. What? Sorry, I didn't follow that one. Let's try again. Arrow Rising says, that was my genuine guess. I don't think so. Let the cat out of the bag. Thought it was originated at Chinese restaurants. It goes back way further than that, so I'll explain in just a second. But before we do, let's give our viewing audience the opportunity to guess in case there's anyone else watching. Chucha says, you missed the first part. Oh, my fault. Chucha says, I want to guess. In the old world, there were rodent problems. People took cats to the place in a sack and let them out of the bag. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you. Yeah, I read it back. So one more time. Chucha's suggestion is that in the old world, I don't know when that is exactly, but fair enough. In the old world, there were rodent problems. And so perhaps people took cats to the place where the rodent problems were and literally let the cats out of the bag. Not quite. And maybe it would help to know what the phrase means in context today. All right, I'm looking at my notes here. It doesn't look to be the best job I've ever done, but that's all right. Give me just a second. It basically means to tell a secret, okay? So when you let the cat out of the bag, it means like something that was maybe said in private or perhaps someone told you in confidence has now been divulged or let known. Does that make sense? So that's what the concept means today. Ladies and gentlemen, Gun Army! Taking notes, huh? Bang! Taking notes. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Gun Army, help me understand that comment, bruh. But thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Far too kind.
You always call my notes out. Do I? Oh. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. So I'll share with the class. Y'all ready? And full credit to Gun Army. So Gun Army and I work together. And he takes impeccable notes when we have meetings. And so sometimes I tease him for taking such specific notes because I'm like, bro, you didn't have to write that part down. You know what I'm saying? Like that was an afterthought. So he's getting on me because I've got show notes. Hey man, good on you. Well done. Touche. Thank you again for being here, bro. Ant says, probably political background or something. Not bad. I'll clap for that. It's not bad. It's a little easier than you think, but it'll make more sense when I tell you. So unless anyone else wants to guess, I'll save you the dramatic pause. We'll just explain the origins of the phrase, let the cat out of the bag, just because. Come on, that's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. I think that's a Tom and Jerry clip. I'm not sure. It was captioned as such, and I thought that'd be cute. Anyway, y'all ready for this? Here we go. Ant says, it's no Heathcliff. That would have been a good one. If you know Heathcliff, shout out to you. I forgot about Heathcliff when I was putting all this together. By the way, this was an afterthought, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, when I tell you I didn't know what we were going to do for putting you on the game today, I was scrambling. Bang. But here we go. It's cute. The phrase, let the cat out of the bag, let the cat out of the bag, has an intriguing story and theories that date back to medieval times. So, Mom, when you mention the old world, you're spot on there, okay? Medieval times. So, one popular origin story, y'all ready, comes from open air markets in those days. What does that mean? Well, sellers would sometimes trick buyers into selling a piglet in a bag or a poke, but sneakingly would replace the piglet with a cat, okay? So when the buyer opened the bag and the cat jumped out, the deception was revealed, you see. So this led to the phrase symbolizing the exposure of a hidden truth or secret, a la, you let the cat out of the bag. So that's what it was all about. So in the seller market, you'd take the bag with the piglet down, right? And you broker your deal and you give them the bag and they think it's a piglet. Meanwhile, they open it up. It's not a piglet at all. Now, there is a less common theory, and I'll share that with you just because. This one is tied to naval punishments. You'll understand what I mean in a second. The cat o' nine tails, I'll say that again. The cat o' nine tails whip. Okay, this is a punishment, mind you. It was used for discipline, and it would often be stored in a bag. So letting the cat out of the bag hinted at the punishment being announced or impending. Both origins share a common theme here. It's the unexpected revelation of something that was meant to stay hidden. Now, I don't really subscribe to that second part, but because I want to be very thorough when putting y'all on the game, there is some speculation or theory that suggests maybe it has something to do with the cat of nine tails. Can't say it right. Say it right. The cat of nine tails whip, I guess, that was used in some naval punishment regime. But I think it's more likely that somebody was sneakily trying to get away with selling a piglet or a poke in a bag and use the cat. And there is your Putting You on the Game segment this week. Chucha says, I just got back from the farmer's market. I didn't see a pig or a cat, but I did dream about kittens. That's cute. You can share your dream if you want to. I'm not sure the symbolism of cats and kittens in a dream. I'm sure it means something. Arrow Rising says, I'll stick with my original guess. Thanks. All right, man, you stick with the old Chinese restaurant, innit? All right, cool. One more time. That was putting you on the game, letting the cat out of the bag. All right, cool. Now, there is an ad break coming up in about 2 minutes. And so for anybody that has to endure those, I'm sorry. I know. But try to remember that we're trying to recoup a little bit of money from the keyword giveaway, okay? But we had a great time doing that, and we will, I promise you, come up with more cool, fun ways to win money, win prizes, do the most. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So for anybody that doesn't know, Kona is... No, that's not Anthony's wife. That's Anthony's cat. That's Anthony's cat. And so when she heard those cat noises, apparently she perked her ears up. But that's cute. I think it's a real cat sound. As a matter of fact, let's appreciate that soundbite one more time. Chucha says, Finn was not a fan either. And Finn is my mother and father's cat. So there you go. El Rising says, shit, I lay with Conan more than my actual wife. Come on now. Listen, I'm just buying a little bit of time because I don't want to play the next segment for fear that someone might miss it. So I'll take this opportunity, cheap plug. Look, if you don't want to watch the ads, all you have to do is subscribe. And there are advantages to subscribing. Not only do you support the channel, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Far too kind.
When we host at least keyword giveaways, there usually is an advantage to being a subscriber. In fact, for the keyword giveaway, the whole time, if you were a subscriber, you had a 2-time chance of winning. Okay, so there's that. You get your name at the top for at least a little while, and you get to unlock some very cool emotes that are exclusive. But you don't have to. For those of you that have, and for those of you that have gifted subscriptions, again,
Thank you.
I love y'all. You're the best. That's all I have to say about that. Now, Arrow Rising, you especially, I have tried to encourage this before. Okay, you just want some money. RussBarber was kind enough to give it to you, and you're gonna go into an ad break here. So I guess I'm talking to the wall. All right. Well, we'll just hang out for a minute or two, and then we'll say what we wanted to say, and we'll play the next segment. How does that sound? When the VOD gets recorded and downloaded and uploaded to YouTube, there won't be any ad breaks, so it'll just be me talking. So we won't have any dead air, but I gotta kind of buy a little time for everyone else that isn't currently a subscriber. Bang. All right. And I'll explain what I was gonna say in just a second. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very popular segment called Anthony's Part of the Show.
I'm Anthony, he's Anthony, it's Anthony's Part of the Show.
Certainly a fan favorite. I love it. I hope you do too. Now, the truth is that this week's segment is not brand new. Now, before you go pouting about it, the truth is that a lot of time and effort goes into producing those segments, quite frankly. And he's been giving us new segments week after week, so he's off the hook this week. So I'm going to replay one of Anthony's segments that I think didn't get its due shine, okay? Quite frankly, I love it. If you've seen it before, well, you're going to see it again. And if you haven't, then you'll be glad that you did, or so I hope, okay? After that, we've got just about everybody's favorite segment. You ready for this? The Movie Preview Game! And if you're unfamiliar, I will explain to you what the movie preview game is, how it works. You do have an opportunity to win a prize, so stick around. And then it's Ryan's movie series review. Okay, and I get to tell you about whatever titles I've seen this week. And then we do a live reading of The Witcher.
Toss a coin to your way.
picture, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty.
Big G says true romance, not this week. But I love the suggestion. Gun Army says, what? No pew 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 from our sub? Gun Army, I didn't see it, buddy. I didn't see it. How come there was no on-screen overlay? What a fail. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take an opportunity. And notice that the counter didn't change either. That's very strange. That is very, very strange. But I see that you have the first badge. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Gun Army. He is our newest subscriber.
Thank you. Far too kind.
That's such a shame. Oh, there it is. Right on cue. So there you go, Gun Army. It was just a little delayed. I think it probably had everything to do with the fact that we were in an ad break, and so we didn't get to see the graphic on screen until we got out of it. One more time.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Bang. And so check this out. This is a perfect segue. Thank you for this. And what I was trying to communicate to you, sir, was that notice how Gun Army now has that exclusive first badge. So there's only so many of those, and Gun Army, you're so sweet, man. Thank you so much. Now, I didn't know if you could use your Prime and qualify for the first badge, but if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, every month you have the ability to get a free subscription. And certainly you can do that on this channel if you want to. That would be dope. But there's only so many of those first badge. It's a founder's badge. It's exclusive. All right, so one more time, thank you to Gun Army.
Thank you. Far too kind.
And now hopefully you got some new emotes to use. Chill. Chucha says, you could play Chucha's favorite things. I need that badge. Now, Chucha, you have the first badge. You're looking for the creator badge. So, Aunt, she's jealous of the badge that you have that is exclusive. As a creator of the show, Cypher Robinson. Yo, good day and good day to you, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cypher came through last week to participate in the keyword giveaway. He did, in fact, follow. Bang. So he has contributed much to the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate you a lot. Welcome back. Chucha says, the creator badge indeed. Well, darling, you know what you have to do to earn that, and so maybe you'll get there. Arrow says, now look at my badges. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. So watch this. I think it takes a second after you subscribe before the updates occur. So we're going to let this marinate, and then we'll give you more shine. And if that never happens, then I'll be sure to give you shine personally. And Shoutout, if you can hear me, we need a shout out. Oh! Come on! We got a hype train, ladies and gentlemen. Come on! Doesn't happen often, but when it does. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Wow. That was super cool. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Far too kind.
So dope. Now look at us, huh? Look at us. Bang. Thank you to all of y'all. For real. And I promise I wasn't trying to pander and beg for them subscriptions, but the fact that you did that means a whole lot. And so that's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna play the sound effect one more time just because. That's our subscription noise, so bang. Fedme, welcome to the chat. Cypher Robinson says, what's on tap today? I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. As a matter of fact, coming up next is a segment that is near and dear to my heart. We call it Anthony's Part of the Show.
I'm Anthony, he's Anthony, it's Anthony's part of the show.
And it's a segment that my guy Arrow Rising produces for us. And even though he doesn't have a new segment for us this week, I was sharing when everybody was in an ad break that a lot of effort and energy and time goes into creating these segments, and it's all him. He's a one-man band man. So we're going to replay a segment that I think is deserving of more viewership because sadly it didn't get the eyeballs that I wanted it to.
That's what she said.
When we originally played it. So coming up next is Anthony's part of the show. All right, so stick around. After that, we have the movie preview game. And I'll explain what the movie preview game is once we get there, and there is an opportunity to win prizes, okay? So watch for that, and then we do Ryan's movie series review, where I tell you about whatever movies or films or shows I've seen in the last week and what I thought, and then we do a reading of The Witcher.
Coin to your Witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty. Oh.
All right, so stick around, and thank you for asking. So chill. Arrow Rising says, I was tasked with too much this week. Drone jobs, writing monologues, editing monologues, Russ's soundbite, which isn't finished. He's stretched too thin. He's stretched too thin. It's a lot. I get it, Brody. And thank you. And for anybody that missed the opening of the show, I'm only doing this because it was a very cute monologue, and it only really works as an open, and so I can't play it again. So if you missed that, I do encourage you to rewatch the VOD, at least the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes once it gets posted. Oh, look at this.
Far too kind.
Shoutout, thank you so much, and welcome to the stream, man. I know you're lurking, you're working. Look at all the love he's showing, and look what I got. How about that? I downloaded that just because. So now we got a subscription soundbite and a bit soundbite. One more again. Thank you again, Brody. I don't know if that counts towards the hype train. It says we're at 94% on the hype train. I don't even know what that means. If anybody wants to explain that to me. You know what I mean? Maybe we can do something else. Sub, gift, or cheer to level up. I'm not asking y'all to do too much more. You've done a whole lot, but I don't think we've ever made it to level 2. Do you unlock something at level 2? That would be dope. Ant says, that was a great time for Fetty. So you're so right. I missed that opportunity. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, where is it? Here it is. What do we call him?
Federico. Fede.
Sorry about that, man. That's a fail on my part. I was so into the fact that there was so much happening. It's a lot. And I have, you know what? I've got a great Christmas gift idea for someone that wants to do that. And I'll tell you offline, so you let me know, okay? We'll do it like that. But it's a great idea. Cypher Robinson, slipping into Lurkville. Gotta do some recording for work, so gotta mute you. Oh, you're gonna miss Anthony's part of the show. But that's okay. Listen, thank you again for being here. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Far too kind.
Come on back. What kind of recording are you doing? Just out of curiosity. So many of the people in this chat do various means of recording. Hey! Look at that. A gifted sub. Cypher, welcome to the Fam Bam. And the hype train continues. That is sick. So level 1 complete. Look at us. Look at us. Hopefully you all saw those animations happening in the chat, as it were. I don't know what it means. Did anybody get a new emote? The first time I feel like, oh, about to beat your last record. Keep up the support, says Twitch. Thank you so much, man. You guys are crushing it. Cypher Robinson says, I'm doing a consult on a script, and I do it via video so I can talk to the writer. That's dope, man. Well, shout out to you. Best of luck with that. Whatever you're doing, sounds cool. And says, well, run the Millstone back again next week. We might
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Let's go! I'm loving all the activity. This is amazing. Harry from the consulate, right? Ooh. He says console just to tie it in, but that's what that is. Ace Ventura. We probably need that button next. Super cool. All right. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you again for all of the support and all of everything that's going on. I'm gonna, right? I mean, it's cool. Coming up is Anthony's part of the show. I'm gonna turn down the lo-fi, and this was debuted a couple weeks ago,
but y'all didn't really appreciate it the way you should have. So here it is, one more game.
I'm Anthony, he's Anthony. It's Anthony's part of the show.
Oh, hey, welcome back. I did not expect you guys to be here this early. It is such a beautiful day, 60-degree morning, and I'm here at the Millstone Institute for Preservation. This place has been around since the 1860s. This land is almost untouched since then. You know, this is a preservation. You can't do anything with this land.
You can't do anything with this land.
Now, we did put an 18-hole disc golf course in here, and maybe I'll put a little clip in here right now of me throwing off this boathouse to a hole. That'll be cool, right? Yes. I really wanted to do this video here because everybody has this idea of what Florida is around the world, you know. Oh, Florida, palm trees, beaches, Florida, man.
It's not all that.
But this is just an amazing place. This boathouse that I'm standing on right now was built in the 1930s, almost 100 years ago, and it's holding up for the most part. The main house up front, 1860s. This preservation sits on 100 acres. Now this place still has horses, donkeys, sheep, goat, chickens. The original farmhouse from the 1860s, and it was updated in the 1940s, so that's pretty cool. This used to be all indigenous tribes, Native American tribes. The Slapaho tribe? No, I don't know the actual tribe. But how beautiful is this right now? Now let me show you around the land a little bit. I got my Camp Anawana shirt on. Salute your short. Nickelodeon TV show. We all know the song. Camp Anawana, we hold you in our heart. And when we think about you, it makes me wanna part.
It's I hope we never part. Now get it right or pay the price.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this Anthony's part of the show. And remember, everything means nothing, but some things mean everything. Bye.
Anthony's part of the show.
Chill! That was so cool. And ladies and gentlemen, we unlocked a new emote. It's being used in the chat as it happens. That was cool. Thank you again, Ant.
Thank you. Far too
The segments were sick, and thank you to every single one of you that participated in the hype train. Yeah! So ironically enough, the new emote is called Choo Choo. And so I just got to do it because, ladies and gentlemen.
Choo choo, choo choo, choo choo, choo choo.
Yeah! Millstone Preservation. Bang! Ant says, Gun Army, I've thrown in the water twice and about 50 times playing it. But there are people who throw in there all the time. And Gun Army, I've been on that dock myself, and I don't think I've been brave enough to throw that thing because it is scary. It's like a guaranteed. It's a guaranteed bogey. You know what I mean? Shoutout, I'm digging those turtles. Those are cute. Aww. Those are cool emotes. I don't know. Do the hype train emotes last forever? I think so, because originally it was the little animated bear with the baseball bat, and we still got him. So maybe now we just unlock them as cool stuff happens. So I don't know how the choo 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 is gonna be used. It looks to be like a mouth inhaling a bunch of food, but congratulations, y'all did that. And says, nah, even you can get it over the water. Hey man. It's scary. But one more time, please give it up for Error Rising in the chat. He is one of our newest subscribers, and that segment was dope. And again, I said it at the beginning, I'm gonna say it again. There was a cool I'm gonna say that. It was a cool monologue open, and the delivery was good, but the writing was even better. And full credit goes to Error Rising. He wrote all them jokes. Slap a whole tribe. Slap a whole. So cool. All right, keeping it moving. Ladies and gentlemen, the next segment, as was promised, as was publicized, is the movie preview game. So if you don't know what it is, I'm gonna tell you. Cypher Robinson, you probably have me on mute, but this would be a fun time for you to participate. Check it out. Y'all ready? In just a second, I'm going to throw up a gradient frame on screen. Arrow Rising says, another week, didn't watch any trailers. Well, listen, maybe this gives some other people the opportunity to win. And this, again, is how it works. So there's going to be a frame that appears on screen. And within that frame, in just a few minutes, I'm going to play a movie trailer. And all you have to do is tell us the correct name of the movie in the chat before anyone else. You've got to spell it right. You got to say it right. If it's a sequel, what was the sequel suggestion recently? Somebody said something. It was Ant, I think. It was something good. Oh, Home Alone. If it's Home Alone 2, it's Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Okay? You understand? It's got to be the full title, basically. Here's what you're playing for. Here's what you're playing for. First of all, you're playing for Pride and this beautiful movie preview game belt. Look at Shadow hitting you with the emotes. I don't know what those other ones are either. Those sharks. Are those new? I don't know what's happening. I haven't been like on the chat side in a while, so all I see is whatever y'all use. Bang. But I like the choo-choos. Those are cool. Matter of fact. Just because. All right, so that movie preview game strap, it's virtual, mind you, but it's pretty cool. And for all of our new subscribers, I think you now have access to that emoji in the chat as well. But that's not all you're playing for. It's not just Pride, okay? And as I'm thinking to myself, I hope I updated the leaderboard, because in a second I'm going to tell you what that means. So listen, if you win the movie preview game 3 times, R&B is going to take you to the movies. That's right. If you win 3 times, I'm going to buy you a movie ticket, and then you get to go to the movies. Now, Arrow Rising has won more than his fair share. In fact, I'll tell you, he's a 10-time champion, ladies and gentlemen. 10 times. That's impressive. So he's gotten 2 movie tickets for all his wins, and yet he hasn't shared with us what movie he's seen. I'm guessing he pocketed that money. Didn't go to the movies. It's for the movies, Anthony. You got to tell us what you see. I'm loving all the new emotes that I've never seen before. Bang. Shout out to you, Shadow. You're killing it. Arrow Rising says, I'm going to just hope it's a movie that I'm already up on. Well, it just might be, or might not be. All right, so if you win the movie preview game title, you win it 3 times, I take you to the movies one more time. Pretty cool. Now, if you're a champion and no one wins, you get to retain the title, but you're not then an additional time winner. You got to win it. You know what I mean? That's fair. And it says, your mom has been waiting for Moana 2 since the show's inception. I know, it's an ongoing inside joke. Look at that, Smokey the Bear. I
don't know if Twitch updated the emotes, but there's a lot of cool ones in the chat right now. Error Rising is on fire. Let's Smokey put him out. Come on. It's pretty cute. We're all getting very creative. Matter of fact, she gets this too.
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
Come on, that's clever because of two reasons. She's literally lit in the chat and the smoke. You get it. You get it. All right. There it is. Look at that. Man, literally lit. That's an exclusive. All right. So, when you're the movie preview game champion, naturally, you're the champ. You got to come out to the ring in style. It is my great privilege. I don't think he's here because I haven't seen his name in the chat, unless, of course, he's making a grand entrance. Uh-oh.
I'm your huckleberry.
And that's just my game. Did y'all hear that? Remember, that's the first time one of the... Oh, no, we heard the gambit earlier. Hopefully those sounds are coming through as they should. Otherwise, well played. Well played. Yep, heard it. Love it. Love it. So many cool things are happening on stream today. And so thank you all.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. He's not here, ladies and gentlemen, sadly. I don't think. Maybe he is. But we're going to welcome him to the stage properly. Okay? He's got a nickname. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, your current movie preview game champion, Don Diego!
Out of the night, when the full moon is bright, comes a horseman known as Zorro. This bold renegade carves a Z with his blade, a Z that stands for Zorro.
Wait for
Zorro, the fox so cunning and free.
Classic.
Zorro, who makes the sign of the Z.
Tell him, bro.
I am known by many names, but you can call me Zorro.
Yeah! He is known by many names, but you can call him Zorro. So joanrroa, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. He is our current and defending champion. Shout out to Fedme clapping it up in the chat one time. And it says, this man went out of his way while killing to put a Z. You're damn right he did. Bang. Shout out to Don Diego and the man known as Zorro. All right, well, let's take a look at the leaderboard, shall we? This is what it looks like currently. Wait for it. Oh, major fail. I knew I didn't do it. That's on me. But don't you worry, I've got the way to do this. So what happens is I update all the graphics and do all kinds of things while I'm gearing up and getting ready. And then I forget. I forget to add it to the overlays. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, the current leaderboard. There you go. Don Diego with a big 2 next to his name. Bang! And it says, I got the leaderboard at my house. I bet you do. I bet you do. So I'll take an opportunity. Shout out to all of our current winners. Error Rising with the 10-time champ belt. Yeah. Then it's Don Diego, joanrroa, Shoutout 1311, and Miss Carmen San Diego.
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
A lot of things happening on this side. All right, give it up for our winners one more time. Her name is Chucha. It's cute. It's the remix. It was the remix. How cool was that? And Error Rising, I think you have a lot of people with high expectations for what you do to pay back RussBarber for his generosity last week. All right, so looking forward to that. Russ, if you're still out there, man, I hope you're staying safe. We love you. Maybe you'll get this one right this week, all right? Chill. Throw up that gradient for me if you would, Rye Guy. Wait for it. There it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it means. When you see the belt, you see the defending champion's name, and you see the rainbow gradient, it means we are about to play the movie preview game. And there's an ad break. Oh, and I have no snoozes. Dang. That's crazy. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rush into the trailer, and you'll have at least 2.5 minutes to guess it right. And if you're a subscriber, then you're still good. You're golden. And for everyone else, thems is the breaks. Literally, thems is the breaks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn down the lo-fi. Hopefully you all know the rules. You've participated enough to know it. If you don't know it, sorry about you. Ask a question if you need to. Be the first to get the name of the movie title correct and spell it correctly in the chat, and you will be this week's winner. Here you go.
Late one night, when everyone was in bed, there was a knock at the door.
May the Lord protect
That's
you
how it looks in
from
Trumso right now.
harmful sea creatures and dangerous pirates.
Go.
Skull. No guesses just yet.
We're not going to help them.
Helping those men will put all of your lives at risk, and I cannot do that.
Whatever wreckage can float, we'll stay close to them.
Neither of those, Chooch. Sorry to tell you.
There!
I've seen evil trying to get in here.
The dead can't break free if you hammer iron nails into their feet.
Shout out to you, Gun Army. I agree. It feels like home, doesn't it, buddy?
I wouldn't sleep if I were you. A thing like that never stops.
This was
never too late to ask for forgiveness for what we did.
It won't stop until it's taken all of us.
Keep it away! Keep it away from me!
Sinister. Frightening as hell.
We should not be here.
Help me! Help me!
Here comes the title, ladies and gentlemen.
Living always more dangerous than the dead.
The Damned. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. No winners this week, but that's all right. So what that means is your current and defending champion remains Don Diego. You play it twice when you're the winner.
When the full moon is bright, comes a horseman known as Zorro. This bold renegade carves a Z with his blade, a Z that stands for Zorro.
Nice throw.
Zorro, the fox so cunning and free. Zorro, who makes the sign of the Z.
We should sample that.
I'm known by many names, but you can call me Zorro.
Shit! Congratulations to you, joanrroa. You remain our movie preview game champion. So we're going to leave his name and belt up for the next segment as well, just to make Anthony feel a little bit worse about it. You know what I mean? And to the rest of you, thank you so much for playing along. It was a tougher title this week. It was a bit obscure, but I thought it was on brand, especially considering the snowy elements of the stream and that of which of the movie. But it does look good. Shout out to Gun Army. He thought so anyway. Fedme says,
If you smell
what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah! The Rock says. The Rock says.
Give it up. That's gonna be Ant coming down to the ring. The final boss, he says. Good stuff, man. Bang. Love that. Fedman, are we still guessing? No, the movie trailer ended, sadly. I know, dog. You missed it. It was The Damned. RussBarber says, WTF? When you do play the Moana trailer, I'll probably miss it. Oh, Chucha. What's her name?
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
Shit. By that time, it'll be Moana 3. No, it's not Moana, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you what trailer I was going to play because I'm excited for it, as a matter of fact. And I don't know if it's a movie or a series, quite frankly. Didn't matter.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
What's the procedure?
Stay calm. Wait. Everybody, God.
Loving the sound bites. You guys have those channel redemption points. You might as well redeem them. You know what I mean? Toss a coin. I think it's a series on Disney Plus. It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what was sad was in the trailer that I saw, it showed the title right away. So that wouldn't work for our game because you got to wait until the title is said. So, but I think it is Wonder Man, if you know about that. But it does look good. So shout out to Disney Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, last week's pick of the week, if you missed that, it was on brand. We did a Halloween vibe. So if you missed last week, you can always rewatch that VOD. But the pick of the week was Agatha All Along, season 2. And it is really, really good. It is on Disney Plus currently. And I encourage you to check that out. I can't wait to finish it today, as a matter of fact. So that's me. So without further ado, this is a wonderful little segue. We are now going to get into Ryan's movie series review.
It's only a movie. Just look over your shoulders, honey.
Yeah!
Good morning, Vietnam!
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack.
Snakes? Snakes. I don't know no snakes.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Hey, you guys!
Enjoy your remaining years.
I will. Enjoy fucking jewels.
I will.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Alrighty then.
Get your popcorn ready. Ladies and gentlemen, and I know we give him his flowers every week, but thank you for making that for us, Chef.
Thank you. Far too
And
kind.
your creative genius is wonderful. Shout out. All of the little edits and brilliant touches. Pause.
That's what she said.
All right, Ryan's movie series review. Y'all ready for it? I'm gonna take down the belt. Bang. And I'm going to take down my guy's title. Shoo. There's also one more thing I got to make sure doesn't play when we transition back. Okay, lots going on. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 movies to tell you about this week. They are all movies and not series. But that's a good thing, I think. I think that's more on brand, as a matter of fact. Chucha, I'm loving those popcorn emojis. All right, now, Mom, sometimes you like to say, I wish you would review a movie or two that I would like. Well, guess what? Every single one of these titles, I think, is something that you would like. Just because.
Choo-choo, 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 choo-choo.
All right. Arrow Rising says, Martha? I should know what that means. I don't. I'm pulling a blank, man. Sorry. Martha? Don't know. All right. Chucha says, I loved Martha. New doc on Netflix, Martha Stewart. Oh! Sorry. Well, I haven't seen it, so it wasn't top of mind. No, it's not. There's no Martha Stewart coming up today. If it's worth watching, though, I'd be glad to watch that, and then I'll tell you all about it. But there you go. So I haven't seen it. No, ladies and gentlemen, the first movie up, I'll tell you who's in it firstly. We don't normally do that. It stars none other than Kate Winslet and Alexander Skarsgård and Marion Cotillard. And it is a movie titled Lee. Gunshots, pun intended. Good film, great acting. Shout out to Kate Winslet. She carries, she's a strong woman, powerful actress, really, really good. Woman empowerment. You ready? And it says, anything WW2 I love, and I love her, and I knew you would, Ant. I knew you would like it also. In fact, let me pause for a second. They usually go in the order in which I enjoyed them, not necessarily the order in which I think that they are like great, okay? This film is borderline great for specific reasons. The next film I enjoyed very much, and it's very topical, and I'll explain what that means, and then you have your pick of the week. But all of these films are good in their own right and for slightly different reasons. Chucha says, Martha would have been good for the movie preview game show. I might have made the leaderboard. Aww. Well, the movie preview game could potentially include series and documentaries, but it's typically films, upcoming films, and I not necessarily blockbusters, but you try to pick Hollywood franchise projects. Chucha says, where do I see Lee? That's a great question. And the truth is, I don't know where you see Lee. So, as a reminder, and thanks to Shadow and Caesar,
Thank you. Far too kind.
I'm afforded the privilege of watching some of these films through a platform known as Plex, and it's Shadow that allows me to do that through Caesar. So, I don't know where this movie is available. Maybe it's for rent on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure. I don't know where you can find it, but it's good, and I hope you do find it. Sorry, I didn't figure that out. I don't think it was ever apparent. It's a movie, you know what I mean? Like, so sometimes they don't go straight to streaming. Maybe it's in the theaters. I don't know. But this is what it's all about, all right? So for anybody listening, Lee is a biographical drama that tells the story of Lee Miller, a former model turned renowned war correspondent during World War II. Take a second to appreciate that. Portrayed by Kate Winslet, Miller's journey is captured as she transitions from a life of glamour to the gritty reality of documenting the horrors of war. The film explores her determination to shed light on truths behind the conflict, focusing on her bravery, her resilience, and the challenges she faces as a female journalist in a male-dominated field. Arrow Rising says, I think it's not free yet from what I see online. Thank you for that. Chucha says, just like you finally come up with a movie I want to see and no way to see it. I'm sorry, Mom. It's a movie. You can take your little pretty self to the movie theaters. Okay? That's how we used to do it back in the day. God, we're all so spoiled and privileged. We just like, what platform is it on? I want to watch it tonight. All right. There's more to this little synopsis. I put a lot of time into these things, so let me go on ahead. Yes. The story highlights her coverage of pivotal wartime events, including the liberation of concentration camps, showcasing Miller's commitment to revealing the human cost of war and her transformation into a trailblazing photojournalist. The film delves into her personal struggles and relationships, painting a complex portrait of a woman driven by both passion and conviction. Come on. He's so articulate. Edward Rising says, meanwhile, this guy is sitting at home ripping all the new movies off Plex. Hey, man. I live in northern Norway, bruh. If I didn't have this, I'd never see anything. Chucha says, I could have won a 2 was the preview movie, and I won those tickets. Well, you wouldn't have won today because you have to win 3 times, but I know. Listen, watch this. You can study up. You all can go online and look ahead at trailers. That's what we used to do back in the day. Before we knew we were going to the movies, some of us would go online and look at all the trailers and be like, okay, when that one comes out, okay, what's the sound for that one? You know what I mean? Get strategic. All right, but I love the banter. Once again, this film stars Kate Winslet, Alexander Skarsgård, and Marion Cotillard. Am I saying that right, Big G? Are you still here? She's French. And the director is Ellen Kuras. Ellen Kuras? Chucha says, we are all too busy working on the live stream. Oh, I appreciate that. Gun Army says, sound about right. I have no idea. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your contributions. And Gun Army, if you haven't seen it, man, it's a good film. Ant says, always had a weird crush on Kate. Well, that's sweet. She's dope. She really is. And this film, she does an exceptional job. I mean, she does. She carries the project. She's such a strong presence. I don't even want to say woman. I mean, it's everything. And it's a period piece. I mean, it feels like you're there. You know what I mean? And you're going to like it a lot. Mom, you're going to like anybody, I think, would like it. So there you go. It's not your pick of the week, though. And the reason why is because the pick of the week, I liked the story a little bit more. This story, I love that it was based on someone in real life, and I like what they went through, but it's also, there are a lot of harsh scenes, and you'll understand when you get there, but, war is tragic, and so some of those things I just didn't, from an entertainment aspect, while I was very much enthralled and into the movie and the story, seeing those things on screen sometimes are just like, heavy. And so that's why it's not the pick of the week, but it's great for that reason as well. So I don't want to say too much. Nothing I have said is a spoiler. Everything is just a synopsis. And says, Mayor of Easttown on HBO. Great. And it absolutely is. And thank you for recommending that show to me as well. But it is a great show. If you haven't seen Mayor of Easttown, you might want to check that out. Chucha says, notice Vero isn't in the chat and Kona doesn't really care. She's got the bed. I don't know what's happening there. I think Vera was working, sadly. She made sure she was online to potentially win that money last week, however. Also, I've noticed Russ has been absent in the chat of late. Dad, you still there, man? What's good? You would like this movie, 100%, all right? So you and Mom, you either need to go to the movies or wait for it to come on out, but it's good. Aunt says, works every Saturday. Last week she was off because her parents were supposed to visit. That's sweet. That's very sweet. Well, we were glad that she was able to tune in, and she was certainly eligible. We appreciate her support.
Thank you. Far too kind.
But listen, you gotta work. Some people work on the weekends. I get it. Shout out to Shadow. Matter of fact, we call him
Federico. Yeah.
All right. It was a good movie. Ladies and gentlemen, I certainly recommend it. It was Lee. Chucha says, my comment was about Ant's crush on Kate. Oh, I see. Missed the tie-in. All right. Y'all ready for your next one? Cool. Now, let me say this. This movie, not as great as Lee was. So if you're wondering why I put them in the order that I did, because normally on this show, the sequence indicates Ryan's favor. You see? So we start low, aim high. I enjoyed this one a little bit more, primarily because I found it to be very insightful, and you'll understand what I mean. Now, let me also just thwart any negativity and thoughts. in no way am I a supporter of this or this individual, okay? But you can watch a movie and not be a supporter, all right? So appreciate the open-mindedness of it all. But it is very topical, very timely. So without further ado, it's a movie, and it is called The Apprentice. So maybe you can guess who this is about from that image. If not, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, The Apprentice is a 2024 biographical drama that delves into the early career of Donald Trump as a real estate businessman in New York City between 1970s and the 1980s. And that was cool. Let me say that. The fact that it's set between the 70s and 80s and it feels like that, you know what I mean? These are all period pieces. Fedmith says, The Apprentice. I don't know if he's guessing, but yeah, man. Ant says, racialist in it. And Chucha says, yeah. I knew we were going to get some feedback from this. Listen, it's a movie. And it's interesting because I wasn't around in life during the early rise to power for Donald Trump, and it's interesting to me to learn more about how he came to be and what his story was all about. But it gets deeper than that, so check this out. Ant says, go back and rewatch the monologue, and shout out to him. I was gonna try my Trump impression again, but it'd probably fail, so I'm just gonna rewatch the monologue at the beginning of the show. It's like our cold open. Let me know what you think, all right? Chucha says, I actually watched it and thought it was interesting. Really? See that? First of all, good on you.
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
Well, good, Mom. Good on you. I'm glad that you watched it with an open mind. And again, this is just consumption of art. It doesn't mean you support an individual by watching a movie about their life necessarily. In fact, good on anyone who wants to learn more so as to be a bit more informed. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was watching it for. But check this out. Look, to give you Ryan's whole truth right here. Ant says, rise to power. He was born in power. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I'll clap for that. This was my point. When I say rise to power, I think it's because there's an individual that deserves a lot of the credit as far as who Donald Trump is today and how he got to where he is. And so I hope my synopsis explains that, but he's the other gentleman in that image. So, the film provides an in-depth look at Trump's rise to prominence, focusing on his strategic maneuvers and ambitious deals that propelled him into the spotlight. Central to the story is Trump's relationship with the influential and controversial attorney Roy Cohn, who is portrayed in the film by Jeremy Strong, who does an amazing job, okay? Shout out to Jeremy Strong. Cohen's mentorship and tactics play a crucial role in shaping Trump's business acumen and his approach to power. Sebastian Stan, that's who plays Donald Trump, takes on the role portraying this complex personality with drive and aspirations. The film explores themes of ambition, influence, and the moral compromises made in the pursuit of success, capturing the dynamic and often turbulent interactions between Trump and Cohen. Lots happening in the chat. Probably the NBC exec. No, it's his attorney, as a matter of fact. It's his legal counsel, at least early on in his career, and says, it was also nice seeing Queen Elizabeth's rise to power. It's a little different, but I feel what you're saying. I'm not saying the individual is completely self-made by any means. But, again, for anybody that doesn't know, Donald Trump, before he was a president and a presidential elect, he was in real estate, and he built primarily hotels in New York City. And before that, his father, it was his father's company, as a matter of fact, and he had like apartments and estates that people rented and lived in. But it was interesting for me because I had heard of Roy Cohn, mind you, but I didn't know the relationship between them, not to the extent that I now do, thanks to the film. And it is interesting to see the influence, at least based on the movie, that man had on Trump, and how Trump, so says the movie, adopts some of his principles, beliefs, and maybe approaches to the game. All right, so it's a good film, and I'll tell you who wrote it and directed it in just a second. Ant says, started on third base. I started in the dugout. Haven't even got to hit it back. I like the analogy. Speaking of baseball, dog, I'm maybe. I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna play because it's topical at the moment.
Let me start with, I'm North is where my heart is. Yankees, baby, NY till I die, no lie.
NY till he dies, no lie. Sorry about you, bro. For anybody that's missing the pieces, sadly, the Yankees lost the World Series. I know, and it matters to him. So, but shout out to the Dodgers. There you go. Chucha says, and he was a misogynist, adulterer, criminal. God damn, huh? This is not a political show. Okay? That is an accident, but a happy one. Nevertheless, lighten up. But you're welcome to share your opinions. I'm not faulting you for that. And interestingly, the movie, I think, highlights some of that as well. So take it all with a grain of salt, and we're not here to talk politics. But from a film standpoint, I enjoyed it. I thought it was... Each of these movies that I'm talking about today are period pieces. What I mean by that is they're shot and filmed in a setting and time that is not current day or future. And I dig that. And they're all done very well. Our Rising says, you bring up the guy running for president, this is what you get. Chucha says, I was talking about the movie. Yeah, I bet you were. I love the banter. Listen, I'm open. You know what I mean? Pause. But, all right, let me tell you. It was directed by, and forgive my mispronunciation, Ali Abbasi, who also directed The Last of Us on HBO. Shout out if you're there. I know you like that one. For anyone else that might have liked it. It was written by Gabriel Sherman. Don't know what else they wrote, but shout out and give you your flowers. It stars, as I mentioned, Sebastian Stan, who you might know as Bucky the Winter Soldier. He plays Donald Trump, Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohen, and Maria Bakalova. She plays Trump's wife, Ivana. Now, you might know her if you've ever seen Borat, as a matter of fact. She's in Borat, if you can believe that. But she's also, watch this, she's also the voice of the dog Cosmo in Guardians of the Galaxy. Aww. So very cool that both Sebastian Stan and Maria Bakalova are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's cool. But I think Jeremy Strong has the strongest performance, pun intended, man. He does a great job. Now, I don't know much about Roy Cohn, the actual man, but I assume his take is fairly accurate and it touches on some things that happened to him personally, and I think he does a good job. So, flowers, hand claps. Now, Sebastian Stan's version of Trump isn't, first of all, it's not modern day Trump. So maybe there was like an evolution to Trumpness, if you understand. Wonderful podcast. Anyway, couldn't help myself. But as the movie progresses, you see more, you see and hear, you see more mannerisms, and you hear a little bit more Trump-ness to the performance that Sebastian Stan is giving. And I think he does a good job. He's believable, but he's not, it's not like exactly, it's not spot on or anything, but I think he does a fine job. It was at least enough to suspend disbelief, if I could say it that way. Arrow Rising, yeah, a guy was a Democrat until like the late 90s. Yep, it's all a game. As a matter of fact, it is all a game, and that's what we're doing. We're testing that game.
Testing the game.
Oh, yeah. All right, so look, The Apprentice. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. It was informative for me. Maybe some other people already knew about this, but it's a good flick, and it is rather timely, all things considered.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
It's not nice. Oh. What did I do to deserve that? I love the redemption, but it's fine. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I only have 3 this week, but appreciate every week we talk about movies and films. There's only so many days in a week, you know what I'm saying? I got 3 for you. It's pretty good. And so because it is the last title this week, Ant says, I think 3 is a nice number. Me too. It's my favorite number, as a matter of fact. It's my favorite. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Pick of the Week. It is a film I'm just going to show you the poster. I don't even know how I was going to intro it, but it's called The Critic. Ian McKellen, shout out. McKellen. I don't know why I said McClellan. Ian McKellen. Better known as Gandalf or Magneto. Fantastic. There's some other wonderful stars in this film, and there's an ad break coming up. So let me read the synopsis for anybody that may have to go to an ad break. And it says, if you watch 5, just give us the best 3. No, man, that's part of it. Listen, most weeks, let me concede, most weeks, the picks aren't great. Now, I don't go into them knowing they're not good. I watch them in the hopes that they are. But oftentimes I'm disappointed. I know, as are you, naturally. This week, I'm giving you 3 good ones, all right? And this one is your pick of the week. The Critic is a dramatic thriller. It's really not that serious, but it is. It's a thriller that centers on a feared theater critic in post-war London, England. All right, so another period piece, as I mentioned. Aunt, I think you're gonna dig it. Mom, you and Dad would love it, especially just because. Everyone, it was awesome. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. The film centers on a feared theater critic in post-war London whose sharp reviews have the power to make or break characters and careers. Sir Ian McKellen stars as the formidable and influential critic whose life becomes entangled with ambition, deceit, and scandal. Chucha says, where do I see it? Sweetheart, I don't know where you see it. I think it's a movie. You might see it at the movies. It says only in theaters September 13th on the poster. So, yeah. And says, might want to add that to your notes. Great suggestion. But I think part of it is that if I don't mention Disney Plus, Apple TV, Prime, it's probably a movie. And you got to take yourself to the movie theater to watch it. Just assume that's what I did. You see how that works? Now, sometimes I do, as a matter of fact. I go like, what was the last film that I saw? No, I did. I saw something and we reviewed it. Oh, you know what it was? It was Joker 2. I saw Joker 2. I did. Chucha says, this feels a lot like when you used to steal music. How dare you? How dare you? Yep, I saw Joker 2. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Fully do. And that movie wasn't great, okay? I didn't... Just because Quentin Tarantino was showing a lot of love to the director, his analogy was interesting that the Joker is the director and that the joke is on everybody. So I think he's like conceding that it's kind of like a non-traditional movie rather than bad, but it was an interesting take, and I certainly respect Quentin Tarantino, if nothing more than for his film prowess. Meaning, yeah, he's a director and an amazing writer and all that, but he knows film, you know what I'm saying? So if he's saying that, you gotta tip your cap. All right, but this isn't about any of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about The Critic. The story unfolds as Sir Ian McKellen's character engages in a power struggle with an actress desperate to rise in the theatrical world. It leads to a series of manipulative and suspenseful encounters that blur the lines between art, criticism, and personal vendetta. It's really, really good. Directed by Anand Tucker. Shout out to the director. I've not seen any other projects by this individual, so I was hopeful that I was like, oh, what else did they do? And then I looked at the list and I was like, I don't know any of those. But this one was really good. And I especially loved how authentic it felt. Like I was transported to this time and period, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And the writing, and I don't know who wrote it, but the writing was also very exceptional. And I think a lot of that credit goes to the actors, but the writing itself, you know what I mean? When the pace is right and then the delivery is exceptional, it was good. It was so good. So check this out. It stars, as I mentioned, Sir Ian McKellen. I don't know if it's Gemma or Gemma. I'm guessing it's Gemma. Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Ben Barnes, and Alfred Enoch. I got to give a shout out to my guy Mark Strong one time. I love just about everything he does. And his role in this is a bit minor. Like, it's an important one, but it's not like he has a whole lot of screen time. But I just like him very much. Shout out to him and everybody. But Ian carries, and Gemma does an amazing job as well. Chucha says, I thought it was pronounced Hema. It could be. So watch this. I know a Gemma. She's Australian, and I don't know if this actress is. It could be Hema. I don't know. I've not heard it, sadly, and shame on me. Look, it's enough for me to look up the names and give you all the synopsis. And if you want me to wait around another 2 hours, I could tell you where to watch it and how to spell and pronounce the name. The takeaway is this, ladies and gentlemen. The Critic is your movie pick of the week. I enjoyed it. I loved it. That was Ryan's movie review. But wait, there's more. Come on, give it to me now. Something's supposed to be happening on screen and it isn't. Now I'm a little frustrated by it. But I do have something for you because I'm a giver like that.
That's what she said.
There it is. Chucha says, yes, it's enough for you to recommend movies we need to go to the theater and see. Yeah, her name is Chucha.
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
So usually when I like a project so much, I want y'all to love it too. And so in order to incentivize you to watch this one, guess who's got the trailer for you? Your boy!
We testing the game. Oh yeah.
So I'm going to turn down the lo-fi, and this is what the Critic is.
I'm the chief drama critic of the Daily Chronicle.
Jimmy Erskine's never liked me.
Hold your breath, for here is theatrical sewage.
It's a disaster. You should talk to him.
Over the last 10 years, you've compared me to livestock, creatures of the sea, and an extinct bird. It's going to stop.
Oh, are you retiring? Tone it down. More beauty, less beast. We can restore the Chronicle to its rightful place as the most read family newspaper in the country.
Watch your backs.
He won't come up to the old guard. Beyond the paper. Anyone who threatens the reputation of this newspaper is an undesirable.
You must practice your perversion behind closed doors.
You're a cheeky old queer, ain't you? May I return the compliment?
Mr. Erskine, are you a homosexual?
1 month's notice.
What did you expect? You must have something on him.
The man's a saint.
All men have secrets. I'll find it.
100%.
From your secret admirer.
Look, he's crying. Viscount Brooke. Powerful, rich, but catastrophically married. I have something delicate to discuss. Do me a little service. I want you to please him, and in return, you will gain my unyielding favor, all that's required to make you a star.
So good.
Don't let me down.
Or what? You're so naughty.
You're a maniac with a death wish.
I'm the Critic. I have power and influence. How on earth do you live with yourself? Please. This is only the beginning.
So good. Bang! Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ryan's movie review. Now, I'm going to bring up the poster one more time just to tell you a couple more things. First of all, yeah, I mean, I was transported to that time when I was watching it. It was so good. Let me help you out with this. I started it late in the evening. It was probably like 7:30. That's late in my evening. But I could tell that the film was good, and so I didn't want to like half-ass it, forgive the phrase. So I was watching it while I was eating dinner, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save this until I'm like really ready to dive in. But I was so excited to finish the movie. I woke up early the next day, and it was a work day, but I watched it at like 4 a.m. Crickets were chirping. I had my coffee. It was dark out. I lit a candle. The vibe was so right. And it was like, for that hour 15 minutes where I was finishing the film, I was just like in it. And it was such a wonderful experience. And I'm sure that's why it added to my review this week. But sometimes projects, film, books, music are just deserving of like the experience in which you consume it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just a normal morning. Pretty good. Also, you ever watch movies and like, I'm not a big drinker and I don't smoke or do anything like that, but you watch these characters and how they behave and you just think to yourself, yeah, that's cool. And like, because of the time, like they're all smoking cigarettes, and Ian is a cold dude, man. And he, you know, I don't know why, but it was just so charming to watch these characters in this time period. I'm probably saying a lot, but it was that good for me. I don't know why. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But it was great. The Critic. So yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our review. Before that, we had Anthony's part of the show.
I'm Anthony, he's Anthony, it's Anthony's part of the show.
Chucha says, it's either at the movies or on Tubi. Guess I'll be going. Now, let me watch this. I don't know what the experience might be like in a theater. I bet that's cool. This film relates to theater of the stage, so seeing it on the big screen in an auditorium would be pretty cool. But there aren't a lot of films that I recommend watching at home, but because my experience was so like cozy at the house, I might tell you to wait until you can do it like that. You know what I mean? Whatever floats your boat. But I just really enjoyed something special about waking up like early, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. The world is quiet. You know, you pour your coffee, you got the whole day ahead of you. Take your time, enjoy yourself, put on that movie. I don't know. I was all in my feelings that day. And it says, Rimshot, I got the 3B at the house. 2B, 3B. You get it. I guess I do need a Rimshot sound effect now that I'm thinking about it. I got that instead. Chucha says, looked like Oscar material. Could be. Sir Ian McKellen, he's fantastic. I mean, great. He's great. Not in this film specifically, but generally, I think he's a great actor. And I say that with intent. Chucha says, that's why I wake up at 4 every day. Good on you. I used to think staying up late was the thing. Getting up early is the thing. So... And I think that there's like a shift that happens to most people. Now, I know some people that are just not early risers and not early birds. They're night owls, as a matter of fact. Woo. We need that for the buttons, too. Water Nugget Enemy! Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Sadly, you've missed a lot. We had a wonderful opening montage. We had Anthony's part of the show. We shouted out our contest winners last week. We just did the movie reviews, man. But I so appreciate you stopping by. Thank you again.
Thank you. Far too kind.
We also had a hype train at one point. I mean, the shit was lit. Dang. But thank you for stopping by. Now listen, we do have a segment called the movie preview game where we show a movie trailer. And if you're ever around during that segment, if you win 3 times, you just have to be the first person to guess the title correctly, which you got to beat some heavy hitters in the chat. But if you do that, if you win 3 times, I take you to the movies. So even though our keyword giveaway is over, don't worry, there'll be more opportunities to win. So stay tuned, stick around. And again, thank you so much for being here. And if you're into The Witcher reading, that is absolutely what's coming up next. Chucha says, what part of the show isn't Anthony's? Oh, I don't, well, listen. I think you all do an awful lot to contribute to this show. I know. I say it a lot, and thank you again.
Thank you. Far too kind.
But yeah, look, our motto on the show, what is it, Sheldon?
You just keep getting better and better.
That's right. Every week, we try to do a little something to make it better and better, and I think we're doing that. And today is no exception. Sadly, I can't play the opening monologue again because it's in another scene that just doesn't make sense. But if you rewatch the VOD, it's like the first 5 or 10 minutes, and hopefully you find it to be as funny as I do. It was cute. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna switch the scene and we're gonna get into The Witcher. Yeah. And says, well, I'm gonna make like a baby and head out. All right, he's gonna make like a tree and leave. Okay, and thanks for everything, man. No keyword giveaway, otherwise I tell you to come back. I know the reading isn't your cup of tea, sadly. Aww. I know, but we appreciate you nevertheless.
Thank you. Far too kind.
And it says, like the doctor said when you were born, it's gonna get ugly. That's not nice. I know you're just making like another one-liner, but that doesn't even apply here as far as I know. Fedman says, not Anthony's part of the show. Fedman, I'm so happy that you're still here, my guy. I'm going to give you the Witcher recap in just a second, but before we do, we've got to change these lights up. Holy moly. Wait for it. I'm waiting. And says, me at the gym, it's gonna get ugly. Well, I certainly hope not. I hope you have an amazing workout, guy. Is it, I know it's not leg day.
Toss a coin to your Witcher, oh valley of plenty.
Wait for the highs. Thank you so much for that. That is a nice segue and transition, so we'll just do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the reading, and I'm very happy to share with you, we're starting a brand new chapter today. I gotta give you this week's, and it says, it's Phone and Roam Day. Okay, data roaming charges may apply. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about to be your Witcher recap.
You mentioned coin.
Witcher recap.
All right. Book 2 of The Witcher. For some reason, the author chose for chapter 1 to be extraordinarily long.
That's what she said.
But not in a good way. So we've been piecemealing it. I think it took us 11 streams, to get through chapter 1. But we did. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, we finished chapter 1 of book 2. The conclusion. So I'll remind you all, there was a character who was introduced at the very beginning, and then we saw him several times throughout chapter 1. His name was Aplegatt, and he was a king's messenger and would send or deliver messages between the kingdoms. Well, last week, he's riding on his horse, he's delivering a message. And I like how the author did this. So he's got like a pinch or an itch on his back, right? And he thinks it's like a flea. And then, sadly, a band of, I think they're called squirrels, which are like guerrilla warfare bandits. I don't know, but I think they're elves. So I'm not sure if the elves are the squirrels, or maybe not. It's a little unclear for me. Sorry about that. Long story long, he's shot with an arrow and he dies. Aplegatt dies. And the reason why I bring up the flea thing is because he's like shot in the same place, like through his shoulder blade where he was feeling the flea bite him. So it was kind of some foreshadowing there. But yeah, that's basically how chapter 1 ends. I don't know if it's the squirrels, this band of people, or if it's elves, but they shoot him with an arrow and he dies. I know. So that was the highlight for last week, sadly. And then the beginning of chapter 2, or the end of chapter 1, is finished with a journal entry from none other than Dandelion himself.
Coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty.
So it's just a very brief entry. In fact, if you want, I could reread that for you today, but we did a great job of it last week, if I do say so myself, yeah? But it's basically an acknowledgement of Dandelion about Siri, Princess of Sintra. So if you want, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the chat if you want me to reread that it's very short. I mean, we're talking, half a page. Otherwise, we're going to get into chapter 2 in just a second. Chucha says, reread!
Thank you. Far too kind.
And listen, I wasn't fishing for that. Mom, I don't know if Fedman's still here. I know Aunt's gone. Dad, you're at the property. I don't know if you're there. But, look, I'm going to reread it. How about that? All right. I'm looking ahead at chapter 2 to figure out... I have a feeling these chapters are going to remain lengthy, pause. And so we're just going to read a few pages, and then we'll call it a day. We've been streaming for nearly 2 hours. That's a lot. Good on us. And thank you for everybody that stopped by, for everybody that subscribed. Matter of fact, we had subscriptions, we had bits, and there was, in fact, a hype train. Choo-choo. So we did all of that. Y'all ready? I hope you have your coffee, your tea, whatever you're into. And I say not for nothing, but here we go again. Look at our little vials at the top there, huh? They're filling up. How cool is that? We're getting very close to reaching some of those objectives. So again, thank you all.
Thank you. Far too kind.
All right. Oh, and nobody reminded me, but that's okay. I remembered. Dad's there, working while listening, my man. Appreciate you. So what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we want to change our category from the talk show to reading and writing, because that is a category on Twitch that I think people might enjoy the live reads. So that's why we do that. So if ever you should remember, let your boy know, and then I'll be sure to change it. Otherwise... hopefully I remember. All right, here we go. Toss a coin, one more game.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty. Oh.
To say I knew her would be an exaggeration. I think that, apart from the witcher and the enchantress, no one really knew her. When I saw her for the first time, she didn't make a great impression on me at all, even in spite of the quite extraordinary accompanying circumstances. I have known people who said that, right away, from the very first encounter, they sensed the foretaste of death striding behind the girl. To me, she seemed utterly ordinary, though I knew that ordinary she was not, for which reason I tried to discover, sense, the singularity in her. But I noticed nothing, and I sensed nothing. Nothing that could have been a signal, a presentiment, or a harbinger of those subsequent tragic events. events caused by her very existence, and those she caused by her actions.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty, oh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with pride and privilege, I'm going to read Chapter 2 of Book 2, Time of Contempt. Now, there's no chapter heading here, so I don't know. It could just be Time of Contempt continued. You know how they like to do. But this is Chapter 2. Thank you so much for being here. Right by the crossword. It's not a crossword, guy. It's a crossroad. See you at the crossroad. All right. Sorry about that. False start. Right by the crossroads, where the forest ended, 9 posts were driven into the ground. Each was crowned by a cartwheel mounted flat. Above the wheels teemed crows and ravens, pecking and tearing at the corpses bound to the rims and hubs. Owing to the height of the posts and the great number of birds, one could only imagine what the unidentifiable remains lying on top of the wheels might be. But they were bodies. They couldn't have been anything else. Siri turned her head away and wrinkled her nose in disgust. The wind blew from the posts, and the sickening stench of rotting corpses drifted above the crossroads. "Wonderful scenery," said Yennefer, leaning out of the saddle and spitting on the ground, forgetting that a short time earlier she had fiercely scolded Siri for doing the same thing. Picturesque and fragrant. But why do this here, at the edge of this wilderness? They usually set things like that up right outside the city walls. Am I right, good people? "They're squirrels, noble lady," came the hurried explanation from one of the wandering... Oh, I never know who's talking until they introduce, and so sometimes I make a guess and I'm often wrong. A wandering trader. Let's give them a voice, shall we? "They're squirrels, noble lady," came the hurried explanation from one of the wandering traders they had caught up with at the crossroads. He was guiding the piebald horse harnessed to his fully laden cart. "Elves! They're on the posts. And that's why the posts are by the forest, isn't it?" I don't know, is he British? I don't know. "As a warning to other squirrels." "Does that mean," said the enchantress, looking at him, "that captured Scoatail are brought here alive?" "Elves, lady, seldom let themselves be taken alive," interrupted the trader. "And even if the soldiers catch them at the city, because civilized non-humans, well, they dwell there. When they've watched squirrels being tortured on the town square, they quickly lose interest in joining them. But if any elves are killed in combat, their bodies are taken to the crossroads and hung up on posts like this. Sometimes they're brought from far away, and by the time they get here, they reek." "To think," snapped Yennefer, "we have been forbidden from necromancing practices out of respect for the dignity of death and mortal remains, on the grounds that they deserve reverence, peace, and a ritual and ceremonial burial." "What are you saying, lady?" "Nothing. We're leaving, Siri. Let's get away from this place. I feel as though the stench is sticking to me." "Yuck, me too," said Siri, trotting around the trader's cart. "Let's gallop, yes?" "Very well. Siri, gallop, but don't break your neck." Of course, my Siri's over here acting up. "Not you, Siri." "Good afternoon to you." That's going to be a problem for many of the pages in this book, I'm quite sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to read just a little bit more. Hang out with us. One more again. Toss a coin.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty, oh.
They soon saw the city, surrounded by walls, bristling with towers, with glistening, pointed roofs. And beyond the city was the sea, gray-green, sparkling in the morning sun, flecked here and there with white dots of sails. Siri reined in her horse at the edge of a sandy drop, stood up in her stirrups, and greedily breathed in the wind and the scent. "Gors Velen," said Yennefer, riding up and stopping at her side. "We finally made it. Let's get back on the road." They rode off down the road at a canter, leaving several ox carts and people walking, laden down behind them. Once they had overtaken them, they were alone, though the enchantress slowed and gestured for Siri to stop. "Come closer," she said. "Closer still. Take the reins and lead my horse. We need both hands." "What for?" "I said take the reins, Siri." Yennefer took a small, silver-looking glass from her saddlebag, wiped it, and then whispered a spell. The looking-glass floated out of her hand, rose up, and remained suspended above her horse's neck, right before the enchantress's face. Siri let out a sigh of awe and licked her lips. The enchantress removed a comb from her saddlebag. She took off her beret and combed her hair vigorously for the next 5 minutes. Siri remained silent. She knew she was forbidden to disturb or distract Yennefer while she combed her hair. The arresting and apparently careless disarray of her wavy, luxuriant locks was the result of long, hard work and demanded no little effort. The enchantress reached into her saddlebags once more. She attached some diamond earrings to her ears and fastened bracelets on both wrists. She took off her shawl and undid a few buttons on her blouse, revealing her neck and a black velvet ribbon decorated with an obsidian star. "Ha!" said Siri at last, unable to hold it back. "I know why you're doing that. You want to look nice because we're going to the city. Am I right?" "Yes, you are." "What about me?" "What about you?" "I want to look nice too. I'll do my hair. Put your beret on," said Yennefer sharply, eyes still fixed on the looking-glass floating above the horse's ears. "Right where it was before, and tuck your hair underneath it." Siri snorted angrily, but obeyed at once. She had long ago learned to distinguish the timbre and shades of the enchantress. That's a tough word when you... She had learned long ago to distinguish the timbre and shades of the enchantress's voice. She had learned when she could get into a discussion and when it was wiser not to. Yennefer, having at last arranged the locks over her forehead, took a small, green glass jar out of her saddlebags. "Siri," she said more gently, "we're traveling in secret, and the journey is not over yet, which is why you have to hide your hair under your beret. There are people at every gate who are paid for their accurate and reliable observation of travelers. Do you understand?" "No," reported Siri impudently, reined back the enchantress's black stallion. "You've made yourself beautiful to make those gate watchmen's eyes pop out. Very secretive, I must say." "The city whose gates we are heading," smiled Yennefer, "is Gors Velen. I don't have to disguise myself in Gors Velen. Quite the contrary, I'd say. With you, it's different. You ought not to be remembered by anyone. The people who'll be staring at you, they'll see me too." The enchantress uncorked the jar, which gave off the scent of lilac and gooseberries. She stuck her index finger in and rubbed a little under her eyes. "I doubt," she said, still smiling mysteriously, whether anyone will notice you. I think that's a good place to stop, unless, of course, the crowd wants to continue. Cypher Robinson, later all, time for me to start my day's writing session. Bang! Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Chucha says, yeah. Does that mean you want to continue, or we shall pause for the cause?
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh,
Toss a coin if you want to keep on rolling.
Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh.
Let me know. Chucha says, keep reading. Hey! The tribe has spoken.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh, Valley of Plenty.
Love that.
Choo choo, choo choo, choo choo, choo choo.
And Gun Army! Look at us. We've got a couple of lovely. I don't know what our community name is. I wanted to name us. We don't have a name, sadly. We need to figure that out. I would be more than happy to continue reading. And so we shall. A long column of riders and wagons stood before the bridge, and travelers crowded around the gatehouse, waiting for their turn to be searched. Chucha says, we are the Witcherettes. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. And I don't think we can all be ets, you know what I mean? In my mind, I was thinking like, you know, the Beehive. You got the Beehive? You know who that is? There's some others out there. I can't think of it. Like Gaga has her little monsters. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Bang. Testing the game. The gamers, maybe. No. We're not that. Okay. It doesn't matter. A long column of riders and wagons stood before the bridge, and travelers crowded around the gatehouse, waiting for their turn to be searched. Siri fumed and growled, angry at the prospect of a long wait. Yennefer, however, sat up straight in the saddle and rode trot, looking high over the heads of the travelers. They parted swiftly for her and made room, bowing in respect. The guards and hauberks also noticed the enchantress at once and gave her free passage, liberally handing out blows with their spear shafts to the stubborn or the overly slow. This way, noble lady!" called one of the guards, staring at Yennefer and flushing. "Come through here, I entreat you! Make way, you churls!" The hastily summoned officer of the watch emerged from the gatehouse, sullen and angry. But at the sight of Yennefer, he blushed, opened his eyes and his mouth wide, and he made a low bow. "I humbly welcome you to Gorvalen, your ladyship," he mumbled, straightening up and staring. "I am at your command." Russ says, "Hurricanes play at noon. Go Canes." Forgive me, there's a 5-hour time difference, I believe. What time is it right now? Is it noon where you are? Nah, 1 more hour maybe? You let me know. But shout out to them Canes. Gun Army, if you don't know the Hurricanes, that's the University of Miami. Bang! We got some Canes over here. Who? We got some Canes over here. 11:02, so you got an hour. All right, well, I tell you what, we'll read just a couple more pages, and we'll wrap this thing up. But thank you all again for voting to read on. That doesn't happen often. Aww. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Far too kind.
"I humbly welcome you to Gorvalen, your ladyship," he mumbled, straightening up and staring. "I am at your command. May I be of any service to you? Perhaps an escort, a guide? Should I summon anyone?" "That will not be necessary," replied Yennefer, straightening up in her saddle and looking down at him. "My stay in the city shall be brief. I am riding to Thanend." "Of course, ma'am," said the soldier, shifting from foot to foot and unable to tear his eyes from the enchantress's face. The other guards also stirred. Siri proudly pulled her shoulders back and raised her head, only to realize no one was looking at her. It was as if she didn't even exist. "Yes, ma'am," repeated the officer of the guard. "To Thaned. Yes, for the conclave. I understand very well. Then, if you wish..." "Thank you," said the enchantress, spurring her horse, clearly uninterested in whatever the officer wanted to wish her. Siri followed. The guardsmen bowed to Yennefer as she rode by, but none of them paid Siri much as a glance. "They didn't even ask your name," she muttered, catching up with Yennefer and carefully guiding her horse between the ruts worn in the muddy road. "Did you put a spell on them?" "Not on them. On myself." I should have read it this way. "Not on them. On myself." The enchantress turned back and Siri sighed. Yennefer's eyes burnt with a violet light, and her face radiated with beauty. Dazzling beauty. Provocative. Dangerous and unnatural. "The little green jar," Siri realized. "What's in it?"
This page is not set up for me to read.
I know, Siri. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. She thinks I'm talking to her every time I say the name. It's probably a way to disable that. "The little green jar. What's in it?" "Glamour. It's an elixir, or rather a cream for special occasions. Siri, must you ride into every puddle on the road?" "I'm trying to clean my horse's fetlocks." "It hasn't rained for a month. That's slopes and horse piss, not water." Come on. Shut the fuck up, Siri. If anybody knows how to switch that on and off easily, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to read that one more time just because it's funny. "Must you ride into every puddle on the road? I'm trying to clean my horse's fetlocks. It hasn't rained for a month. That's slops and horse piss, not water." "Ah, tell me why you use that elixir. Did it matter so much to you?" "This is Gorvalen," interrupted Yennefer, "a city that owes much of its prosperity and sorceresses. Sorry. A city that owes much of its prosperity to sorcerers and enchantresses. Actually, if I'm honest, chiefly to enchantresses. You saw for yourself how enchantresses are treated here, and I had no desire to introduce myself or prove who I am. I preferred to make it obvious at first glance. We turn left after that red house. We'll walk. Slow your horse down, or you'll trample a child." "But why did we come here, then?" "I just told you." Siri snorted, thinking hard, then pursed her lips and dug her heels hard into her horse. Her mare skittered, almost colliding with a passing horse and a cart. The carter got up from his seat, ready to unleash a stream of professional abuse at her, but on seeing Yennefer, sat down quickly and began a thorough analysis of the state of his clogs. "Try to bolt like that once more," enunciated Yennefer, "and we'll get cross. You're behaving like an adolescent goat. You're embarrassing me." "I figured it out. You want to put me in some school or orphanage, don't you? I don't want to go." "Be quiet. People are staring." "They're staring at you, not me. I don't want to go to school. You promised you'd always be with me, and now you're planning to leave me all by myself? I don't want to be alone." "You won't be alone. There are plenty of girls your age at school. You'll have lots of friends." "I don't want any friends. I want to be with you, and I thought we'd..." Yennefer suddenly turned to face her. "What did you think?" "I thought we were going to see Geralt," said Siri, tossing her head provocatively. I know perfectly well what you've been thinking the entire journey. And why you're sighing at night? Enough, hissed the enchantress. At the sight of her glaring eyes made Siri bury her face in her horse's mane. You've overstepped the mark. May I remind you that the moment you could defy me has passed forever? You have only yourself to blame, and now you have to be obedient. You'll do as I say. Understood? Siri nodded. Whatever I say will be the best for you, always. Which is why you will obey me and carry out my instructions. Is that clear? Rein in your horse. We're here. That's the school? Grunted Siri, looking up at the magnificent facade of the building. Is that? Not another word. Dismount. And mind your manners. This isn't the school. It's in Artusa, not in Gorvalen. This is a bank. Why do we need a bank? Think about it and dismount, as I said, not in the puddle. Leave your horse. That's a servant's job. Take off your gloves. You don't go into a bank wearing riding gloves. Look at me, Siri. Straighten your beret and your collar. Stand up straight. And if you don't know what to do with your hands, then do nothing. Siri sighed. The servants, who poured out the entrance and assisted them, falling over each other as they bowed, were dwarves. Siri looked at them with interest. Although they were all short, sturdy, and bearded, in no way did they resemble her companion, Yarpen Zigrin, or his lads. The servants looked gray, identically uniformed and unremarkable. They were subservient, too, which could never be said about Yarpen and his lads. They went inside. The magic elixir was still working, so Yennefer's appearance immediately caused great commotion. More dwarves bustled and bowed, and there were further obsequious welcomes and declarations of readiness to serve, which only subsided on the appearance of a fat, opulently attired and white-bearded dwarf. "My dear Yennefer!" boomed the dwarf, jingling a golden chain which dangled from a powerful neck and fell considerably below his white beard. "What a surprise! And what an honor! Please, please, come to my office. And you lot, don't stand there staring. To work, to your abacuses. Wilfley, bring a bottle of Castel du Nord to my office. Which vintage? You know which vintage. Be quick, jump to it. This way, Yennefer. It's an unalloyed joy to see you. You look... Oh, damn it, you look drop-dead gorgeous. As do you, the enchantress smiled. You're keeping well, Giancardi. Naturally. Please come through my office, but no, you go first. You know the way after all, Yennefer. It was a little dark, but pleasantly cool in the office, and the air held a scent Siri remembered from Jar, the scribe's tower. The smell of ink and parchment and dust covering the old oak furniture, tapestries, and old books. Sit down, please, said the banker, pulling a heavy armchair away from the table for Yennefer and throwing Siri a curious glance. Give her a book, Molnar, said the enchantress, carelessly, noticing his look. She does adore books. She'll sit at the end of the table and won't disturb us, will you, Siri? Siri did not deign to reply. Bang. How about that for a stopping point? I wish that, you know what I mean? I think this will be a great place to stop and start next week. What do you say, Chad? Do you want to keep on going? If you do, you know what to do. Toss a coin.
Toss a coin to your witcher.
Otherwise.
Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh.
Gun Army, are you still folding your laundry, Brody? If so, I'll keep you entertained for another minute or two. Chucha, how you feel, sweetheart?
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
Talk to me. Fedme! 4 pairs and 2 longer socks left. All right, we're gonna do this thing. I actually didn't mean to hit the fail button. We're enjoying the story. How cool, how cool. All right, we're back at the bank. Let's do this. A book, said the dwarf. Solicitously. No, that can't be right. Solicitously. That's a tough one. Fuck that. Laugh it up. A book, said the dwarf, going over to a chest of drawers. I can't get it out. Pause.
That's what she said.
What have we here? Oh, a ledger. No, not that. Duties and port charges. No, not that either. Credit and reimbursement. No. How did that get in here? God only knows, but this will probably be just the thing. There you go, miss. The book bore the title Physiologus. This is tough. Come on, guys. Physiologus. Okay. Physiologus. That's what we're going to call it. The book bore the title Physiologus and was very old and very tattered. Siri carefully opened the cover and turned several pages. The book immediately caught her interest, since it concerned mysterious monsters and beasts and was full of illustrations. For the next few moments, she tried to divide her interest between the book and the conversation between the enchantress and the dwarf. Do you have any letters for me, Monar? No, said the banker, pouring wine for Yennefer and himself. No new ones have arrived. I delivered the last ones a month ago using our usual method. I received them, thank you. Did anyone show interest in those letters by chance? No one here, smiled Molnar Giancardi. Molnar is his first name, Giancardi is his last name. But your suspicions are not unwarranted, my dear. The Vivaldi Bank informed me, confidentially, that several attempts were made to track these letters. Their branch in Vengerberg also uncovered an attempt to track all transactions of your private account. A member of the staff proved to be disloyal. The dwarf broke off and looked at the enchantress from beneath his bushy eyebrows. Siri listened intently. Yennefer said nothing and toyed with her obsidian star. Shut the fuck up, Siri. How do I switch that off? Vivaldi, said the banker, lowering his voice, couldn't or didn't want to conduct an investigation into the case. The corrupt, disloyal clerk fell, drunk, into a ditch and drowned. An unfortunate accident, pity. Too quick, too hasty. No use crying over spilt milk, the enchantress pouted. I know who is interested in my letters and account. The investigation at Vivaldi's wouldn't have produced any revelations. If you say so, Giancardi ruffled his beard. Are you going to Thanet, Yennefer? To the General Mage's Conclave? Indeed. To determine the fate of the world? Let's not exaggerate. Various rumors are doing the rounds, said the dwarf coldly, and various things are happening. What might they be, if it's not a secret? Since last year, said Giancardi, stroking his beard, strange fluctuations in taxation policy have been observed. I know it doesn't interest you. Go on. Poll tax and winter billeting tax, both of which are levied directly by the military authorities. They've been doubled. Every merchant and entrepreneur also has to pay their 10th groat into the royal treasury. This is an entirely new tax, 1 groat on every noble of a turnover. In addition, dwarves, gnomes, elves, and halflings are paying increased poll and chimney tax. If they engage in trade or manufacturing, they are also charged with a compulsory non-human donation of 10 per 100 groats. In this way, I hand over 60% of my income to the treasury. My bank, including all of its branches, gives the 4 kingdoms 600 marks a year. For your information, that's almost 3 times as much as a wealthy duke or earl pays in levy on an extensive estate. Are humans not also charged with making the donation for the army? No! Only the winter billeting tax and poll tax. That means, the enchantress nodded, that the dwarves and the other non-humans are financing the campaign being waged against the Scotia tail in the forest. I expected something like that. But what do taxes have to do with the conclave on the Ned? Something always happens after your conclaves, muttered the banker. Something always happens. This time, I hope it will finally be the opposite. I'm counting on your conclave stopping things from happening. I'll be very happy, for example, if these strange price rises weren't to stop. Be precise. The dwarf leaned back in his chair and linked his fingers across his beard-covering belly. I've worked for a good many years in this profession, he said. Sufficiently long to be able to connect certain price influctuations with certain facts. And recently, the prices of precious stones have risen sharply, because there's a demand for them. Isn't cash usually exchanged for gemstones to avoid loss based on fluctuations in exchange rates and parties of coinage? That too. But gemstones have other considerable virtue. A pouch of diamonds, weighing a few ounces, which can fit inside a pocket, corresponds in value to some 50 marks. The same sum of coins weighs 25 pounds and will fill a fair-sized sack. It is considerably quicker and easier to run away with a pouch in one's pocket than a sack over one's shoulder. And one has one's hands free, which is of no small import. One can hold on to one's wife with one hand and, if need, punch someone with the other. Siri snorted quietly, but Yennefer immediately quieted her with a fierce look. Which means, she looked up, that some people are preparing well in advance to run away. But where to, I wonder? The far north tops of the list. Hangfors, Kovir, and Povis. Firstly, because it's indeed far away, and secondly, because those countries are neutral and are on good terms with Nilfgaard. I see, said the enchantress, a nasty smile on her lips. So it's diamonds into your pocket. Grab the wife and head for the north. Not too premature? Oh, never mind. So tell me, what else is getting drearier? I don't think that's what I said, or should have said. So tell me, what else is getting dearer? Boats. What? Boats, repeated the dwarf, grinning. All the boat builders from the coast are building boats. Their orders placed by quartermasters from King Foltest's army. The quartermasters pay well and keep placing new orders. Invest in boats, Yennefer. If you have any spare capital, it's a gold mine. You can build a boat from bark and reeds. Make out a bill for bark made You can build a boat from bark and reeds. Make out a bill for a bark made of first-rate pine and split the I don't know what it is. Sometimes the alliteration just gets to me. You can build a boat from bark and reeds. Make out a bill for a bark made from first-rate pine and split the profit with the quartermaster. Don't joke, Gancardi. Tell me, what's this about? Those boats, said the banker casually, looking at the ceiling, are transported south, to Sodden and Bruges, to the river Yaruga. But from what I hear, they aren't used for catching fish on the river. They're being hidden in a forest on the east bank. It's said that the army are spending hours of embarkation and disembarkation drills. But it's not for real yet. Shoutout 1311. Aha, said Yennefer, biting her lip. And why are some people in such a rush to lend a hand? Yaruga is in the south. There's some understandable anxiety, muttered the dwarf, glancing over at Siri. That Emperor Emir Van Maurice will not be overjoyed when he hears that the aforementioned boats have been launched. Some people think it is sure to infuriate him, and then it'll be better to be as far away as possible from the Nilfgaard border. Hell, at least until the harvest. Once the harvest is in, I'll sigh with relief. If something's going to happen, it'll happen before the harvest. Before the crops are in the granaries, said Yennefer slowly. That's right, it's hard to graze horses on stubble, and strongholds with full granaries can endure long sieges. The weather is favorable for farmers, and the harvest looks promising. Yes, the weather is exceptionally beautiful. The sun's hot, so cats and dogs alike are hoping it'll soon rain cats and dogs. And the Aruga and Dol Angra are very shallow. It's easy to ford it in both directions. Why Dol Angra? I hope, said the banker, stroking his beard and fixing the sorceress with penetrating glances, I hope I can trust you. You've always been able to, Giancardi. Nothing has changed. Dol Angra, said the dwarf slowly, means Lyria and Aedern, who have a military alliance with Temeria. You surely don't think that Foltest, who's buying the boats, intends to use them for his own ends, do you? No, said the enchantress slowly, I don't. Thank you for the information, Molnar. Who knows? Perhaps you're right. Perhaps at the conclave we'll somehow manage to influence the fate of the world and people living in it. Don't forget about the dwarves, snorted Giancardi, or their banks. All right.
Your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, back to the line.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Far too kind.
And I'm gonna swap back the lights. Bang. And there is an ad starting in 57 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. But that's all right. We had a wonderful show. Gotta change the category. Bang. And we're back. I think that's enough for today. What do you say? No, come on. We've had a great show. There were so many wonderful things. We had a hype train. People got lit in the chat. There were bits. There were subscriptions. Anthony's part of the show. Gun Army says, laundry folded and dinner is cooking. Well done, good sir. Chucha says, Shadow has a green badge with a sword. What is that? I'll tell you. Shadow is our channel's moderator. As a former Twitch streamer himself, I say former because he no longer streams, sadly. He can help out and do various things in the chat, like shoutouts and other cool stuff. So that's what his badge is all about. Gun Army says, giving that air fryer steak another go. Bang! Well, good luck. Let me know how that is. I'd be curious to know, as a matter of fact. Chucha says, I want all the badges. You're so sweet.
Her name is Chucha. She's getting lit up in the chat.
Well, you have two of the most important ones, as a matter of fact. The Founder's Badge and certainly the VIP.
Got a Superman badge that I scored from Shaq with an old school caddy with
because the diamonds in the chat. And Gun Army, I think we owe you one of those too, buddy. Thank you for the subscription, homie.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Tune in next week. See if there's a diamond next to your name as well. Now look, I do encourage you all, if you missed the monologue at the beginning of the show, check it out. Check it out in the VOD, either on Twitch or on YouTube in a little while, because I think it's cute. Let me know what you think. Maybe we do more of those. The concept was late night talk shows. If you watch those, they typically start with like a monologue and a few jokes. So we try to recreate that. And one more again, shout out to Arrow Rising for writing those jokes. He did a good job. Chucha says, I've got a pecan pie in the oven thanks to The Witcher. Yeah? God, that sounds so good. Save me some of that pecan pie for when I come home, baby. All right? We're going to have Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm tired, if you want to know the truth. So sorry if the reading got a little bit kind of at the end there. I felt like it was falling off a little bit, but we had a great time. The movie reviews were stellar this week. I encourage you to watch each of those: Lead, The Apprentice, and certainly The Critic. Chooch says, it was wonderful. Oh, you're such a supporter, Chooch.
Choo-choo, 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 choo-choo.
Love you for that. No keyword giveaway. We did that last week. One more time, shout out to our winner, Mr. RussBarber. Shout out to him. Congratulations to everybody that participated and to the whole community at large, man. Just, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to do it. Look, we are on the road to 100. Our follower goal is currently 70. Last week we reached 60 and we're climbing. And I think when we get to 100, we need to do something very, very special. And look at this. We're 3 subscribers away from 10. That's amazing. That's amazing. Now you got to keep those subscriptions rolling, okay? Otherwise, the bar will go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So that's the game we play. But look, I so appreciate every single one of you, and I mean that sincerely. I think there's probably even a couple people that tune in and don't say hi in the chat. But I love y'all too, okay? Chucha says, what happens when you are in Florida? I don't know. I don't know what happens when I'm in Florida. I'm hoping we can figure out a way to go live, but I won't have my setup and the camera and all that. Now, Shadow has a setup. Sure he does. He's not using it at the moment. But I might be able to use his setup and go live one time. But we'll at least have lots of content to talk about in the next stream when I get back to Norway. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Norway, that's what the snow is all about. In the background, let me show you one more time. This is what my backyard looks like, or my front yard, depending on how you look at it, looked like this morning. Can you dig that? That's real. That's real. This is my life now. Shoveling snow and all of that. But it's very, very pretty. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we testing the game.
We testing the game. Oh, yeah.
We forgot to do this a time or two. Last week it was the Halloween special, so we ended with something different. But this is our tagline for the show. It's appropriate in many respects. It comes from The Office, which we love. Gun Army says, better go to the Bergen office. Here, it's only pouring down rain. Dang. As a matter of fact, I'm going to the Bergen office, I think this month. Right? And I can't wait. Bergen is a city I have been wanting to visit for a very long time. It's a part of Norway that I haven't had the opportunity to see just yet. And so I'm looking forward to that. And Gun Army will be together in person, man. Super cool. So look out for that. And then I'll get to tell everybody else how my experience in Bergen was. Says it's going to be a good one. Absolutely. Absolutely. So to anyone still watching, again,
Thank you. Far too kind.
love y'all for real from the bottom, all that jazz. This was a successful unveiling. I'm going to hit you with the close and we're going to hit the outro. Maybe I'll see you again next week. Love y'all so much.
This was a successful unveiling.
Go back to work. Peace out.